I love that we've done 3 great cooking sessions here for wellness, and we're finishing it off with snacks, which I think is kind of an interesting topic because a lot of people, I mean, I think we as a society tend to snack a ton now, right? And we eat everywhere. We eat meals in our cars, we eat while we're walking. It's kind of like we treat food like we treat our phones, right? We're just constantly moving with them. And so snacks can be one of those things when you're stressed or tired, frustrated, anything where we turn to food and we let our blood sugar get too low sometimes, you start craving things that aren't that good for you. So I thought it would be fun to just make a couple of snacks today that are good for you, that will make you feel great. And they all have different health benefits. Like I want to just talk about popcorn and corn in general because it's got loads of fiber in it, which is really good for us. So if you're going to have something that feels kind of more satisfying from like a starchy standpoint or a carb standpoint, popcorn's an awesome option. Plus you can add protein to it, right? You can add Parmesan cheese. We're going to add this bagel seasoning and a little bit of butter. You could use ghee or coconut oil or any healthy fat that you wanted. So that'll be fun. And then I'm just going to mess around with the trail mix. We gave you a recipe that is so simple, but I'm going to put some other spices and stuff on it. And I got some dried blueberries, which I thought were fun. And I'll talk to you about dried fruit because those can be loaded with sugar. I mean, loaded. So I'll explain how much to use and why I chose dried blueberries in the first place. Sound good? In the meantime, let's see. Hi. Oh my gosh, we have 9 people. Susan KQ's here. Everybody's showing up. Hi, everybody. I was going to say, in the meantime, if you have any questions you want me to answer today about wellness, please put them in the question section and I'll come back to them so I know I don't miss them in the feed. Now that I'm using a different camera, it's much harder for me to see the actual feed on. Yeah, these are too far away. Hi, Chris in Denver, snowy Denver. Is the sun shining there at least? So please just put them in the actual question and I'll get back to them after I'm done cooking, okay? So let's kick it off and let's do trail mix because I am gonna toast this trail mix a little bit. I'm gonna toast some of the nuts. And so I thought it would be fun to start with this. The recipe we gave you, I believe, tells you just to toast some almonds by themselves. But here's what I found at the store, and here is what I find to be true in general. Nuts can be really expensive, and a little can go a long way. And because they have so much good stuff, they're pretty caloric, but they're also, they can be great sources of protein and fats that we need. Like a handful is enough for a great snack, right? So you don't need a lot. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the 5 grams of protein. So I love making trail mixes like this or any nut and seed mix because you can eat it as a snack. You can sprinkle it on a salad. And in fact, I'm going to put this over some kale later and just make a huge salad out of it. Or you can just kind of have them around anytime you want to turn to something that is not sugar-based or refined, right? So something that's not flour-based or something that's just going to leave you feeling yucky. So they did not have, I think it calls for almonds. I got cashews and chopped walnuts because I wanted to toast these a little bit and add some flavor to them. And then I also got a big old thing of pumpkin seeds. We can read about the health benefits of all of these things, but they all have different health properties for us. So the more you mix, the better, right? So I thought I would want to toast all of these together and just get some color on them and some extra flavor. It just makes everything taste more like itself when you toast them. I'm looking at the, love it in salads, so good in salads. So yeah, it's just a great thing to have around, right? So the other thing I did is I bought the walnuts already chopped. You can leave the cashews whole or you can chop them. I'll switch this to the cutting board so you all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put the pumpkin seeds on at the same time because I'm not trying to get these perfectly browned. I'm just trying to give everything some extra flavor, right? And I think what I want to do is add a little bit of like a warm spice blend. So cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, kind of like the pumpkin spice or apple pie spice profile. We'll go there, okay? But in order to make that stick, I need to melt a little bit of oil. I'm going to use coconut oil because I like the flavor of the coconut oil with nuts and seeds and something sweet. You could certainly use almond oil too. Let's just add the cashews to this pan as well. Let's turn it down. Great. Yeah, you can use any kind of nuts or seeds that you like. So make it your own, right? I'm just going to kind of squish these a little bit. Let's throw them on. Let's see what these have in them. Lots of iron, tons of magnesium, which is something most of us are missing. Lots of zinc. Let's see the protein, 5 grams of protein again. That's a solid amount. 150 calories in a quarter cup. So that's like a little handful, right? So you can see how it can add up really quickly. But when you look at the nutritional value of these things, it gets pretty cool pretty fast. Okay, let's get some coconut. I'm going to move the camera just over to the pan. And then let's see what I have to for a spice mix for us, okay? Let's look at that pumpkin spice. Oh, I already had everything bagel seasoning and I just bought new. You guys, I pride myself on not doing that and I completely missed it in the drawer. I know I have like pumpkin, there it is. Pumpkin pie spice, which is just another way of saying, let's read it. Organic cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg. So just some basic sweet flavors that might be nice. You guys are probably used to me putting turmeric and black pepper on my nut mixes. I love it. I absolutely love that. And there's such a health kick to that, but I do it all the time. So I just want to try something different tonight, you know? Let me get a little bit of this coconut oil. Here it is. In the pot, I just need like, literally, I'm going to melt. There's only like probably 3 tablespoons in here. I'm just going to melt like a little tablespoon worth. Scraping it up with a fork so I don't have to use another utensil. Now you could do this in the microwave too, of course. I'm just going to do it in this pot because I'm about to use it for popcorn as well. There we go. Did everybody have a nice Valentine's, by the way? We were at my son's basketball game for Valentine's Day. It was hilarious. Okay. So I'm going to melt that, and then I only have a very small amount of maple syrup left, like literally maybe a teaspoon or 2 in here. So let's see if we can get any of that out, just to add a little bit of sweetness with the spices as well. I don't know. Ooh, there's a little. This is going to be a perfect amount. I just want literally just dripping. I just want enough to give it a little touch of sweetness. Okay. And then what I'll do is I will put I'll put the spice on afterwards, okay? Let's just make sure that coconut oil is a little bit melted. Can you guys, every time I want to show you the bottom of the pot, of course, I'm afraid that I'm going to tip it over. Can you see the coconut oil swimming around in there? It's about to be completely melted. Just a second. Now the best thing to do, let me just turn this up a little bit. I'm just going to put the nuts right in here and stir them to cook, okay? Let's put this down. And then, watch this. I'm going to put them here and do this. Just shove them right in. And then we're going to make sure they're coated evenly, right? And then I'll put a little bit of the spice blend on there. Yum. And then a spoon. So again, you can use anything you'd like. If you just want to toast the nuts plain, you can. You could sprinkle a little bit of salt on them just to bring out their flavor. You can already buy nuts that are roasted and salted. Yum. It needs a little salt now that I say that. A little sprinkling of salt. Make it taste more like itself. That's what I say. Let's see if we can taste the seasoning. Yeah, you can. This is going to be delicious. Okay, so I'll show you when this is all out on a baking sheet what it looks like. Gorgeous, right? This looks like the recipe from my last book. Tastes delicious. Okay, I'm gonna pop it in the oven for like 10 minutes. That's it. All right. I'm actually gonna put my pan. I'm gonna rinse it out so I can use it for the popcorn, okay? Yum. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Where did I put? You guys, if I had $1 every time you heard me say, where did I put my, you'd all be, we could retire. It's like a bad drinking game. Where did I put my, I say it all the time. Okay. While the nuts are cooking, let's make the popcorn, and I'll show you different things that you can season it with to make it really delicious. Just looking to see, no questions yet? Okay, good. We're in great shape. I am going to melt a little bit of, I'm so funny, you guys, you can cook it in coconut oil. You know, I'm kind of anti seed oils, like I'm not using canola or safflower or anything like that these days. I'm sticking to coconut and olive and sometimes grapeseed, but a neutral oil is great for popcorn. I'm just going to use, I think I might even use this olive oil, because what I'm going to put on it afterwards, I'm going to melt a little bit of butter and Parmesan and then put some everything bagel seasoning on it. So the olive oil, actually, you don't really taste it when you pop the popcorn. So I want to measure my popcorn because I don't need to make a ton. I usually just put in a couple tablespoons of oil and then like a quarter cup of kernels for this size pan. So let's do that, okay? And let's see how much it makes. Oh, really, Susan? Tell us. Tell us more. Tell us everything about seed oils. I think it's really interesting. We're definitely supposed to be eating the ones that are derived from avocados and olives. Okay. All right, that's a quarter cup, okay? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna heat about 2 tablespoons of oil in the pan. And then I'm just gonna put a couple kernels in and cover it. And when they pop, you know that the pan is hot enough and that the oil's hot enough. And then I'll put them all in. So I'm gonna move this again. And let's just heat it up. It's a loose arrangement, as I like to say. You can kind of do what you want with this recipe, which is awesome. My olive oil. I just like enough to coat the bottom of the pan really lightly, because then when I put the kernels in, I'm going to shake it and they're all going to get coated, right? It's going to get hot quickly and they'll pop evenly, which I like. And then we want to make sure we have some salt around for that. And I've got a big bowl I'm going to dump it in, okay? So here's my big popcorn mixing bowl. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to melt some butter to put on it sooner than later, because when we get it off the cooktop, we're going to want to butter it pretty quickly to get the yummy toppings on there. So I'm going to just melt the butter in the microwave. Did anybody, you can't remember the details, but it included margarine. Oh yeah, butter, real butter or ghee is always better than that. Anything where they have to refine something to break it down for us to consume it, we want to be able to eat things in their whole states. Hello, any kernels in there? They're not, but the butter just popped in the microwave, lovely. Oopsie. That was pretty funny. Okay. Nope. Nope. They're just hanging out, waiting for me to do my thing. Oh, there they are. Okay, so they're popped. So let's put all of them in. I'm just going to give them a quick shake to coat them. And then when it starts to pop, I'll kind of keep shaking the pan. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I just don't like any of them sitting on the bottom of the pan because they'll burn, right? So I like to pretend that this is helping, but it's more fun than anything else. Okay. Can you hear it? It's fun. And then when the pop starts to slow, you'll know that the kernels are almost all popped. I kind of wanted to blow the top off of it. I think it's almost done. Or not. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Check out how fluffy. It's beautiful. Okay. Let's put it right in here. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like the perfect batch. You can't tell, but it's literally like there are no kernels left. That was the perfect amount of time to pop it. I'm kind of impressed. All right, now comes the fun part. Adding all of the yummy things we want to add. Now, the thing is, I don't think that there is salt in this bagel seasoning, but let's make sure of that before I go adding it, because the last thing we want is a ton of salt in here. I want to be able to control it, right? Yep. So let's just do this. Off you go. This is the most addicting snack ever. I promise you're going to love it. Happiness is happening, Jenny. Yes. Oh, you know what, KQ? So you want to use avocado. It has a really high smoke point, which means that it won't destroy the properties of the oil, the health properties of it if you're cooking at a high heat. So I recommend avocado for that in terms of the healthier oils to use, okay? Let's put some Parmesan cheese on this. And then we're going to toss it with our hands first. And trust me, I'll show you the bowl. You ready? You want to get in there, right? Let's have some fun. And you want to use enough of the everything bagel seasoning to be able to see it on your popcorn. You don't need to use butter. Of course, you could just put a little bit of, you could do it dry. I'm just not a dry popcorn fan. Let's see though. I like the butter because it helps everything stick to it. Yummy, and it's not going to need much salt. In fact, I don't think it needs any. Oh, it's so good. Let's put some in a little bowl for us. You guys, the onion and the garlic coming off of this, and then the poppy seeds, it's so pretty. You could even put more bagel seasoning on the top if you want. I didn't use a ton, and there's a lot of it at the bottom. The more butter you use, the better it will stick, right? So some of it's down at the bottom here, but pretty flippin' delicious. I just had to confirm. Let's let the camera focus. Can you see all that yumminess? Wow, this camera really is better, isn't it? You can actually see what I'm making. It's very exciting. So this recipe is in my new book, and oh shoot, I don't think we got to photograph it. I really wanted to take a picture of it because it's so cute. Maybe I'll sneak a photo in. I'm gonna check the nuts and let's see what those look like, okay? Delicious. They look fantastic. Can you see this? That was less than 10 minutes. I'm just gonna let them sit and kind of soak everything up there for a second as they cool. So let's put those down over here on the cooktop. Turn off our timer. And then we can talk about other things to add to our trail mix while I eat a little bit of popcorn. Is that rude? Let's see if I got the question answered or there's another question. Does your recipe call for half cup popcorn kernels? It does, but I just used a quarter cup because it is just the two of us. And it's just my son Charlie and me. And if I make a half a cup, I'll eat the whole thing. So just keep that in mind. That was a quarter cup that I just made, okay? Hope that helps, Anita. Okay. I noticed you use Bob's Red Mill popcorn. You're kidding. I love Bob's Red Mill products so much. I don't realize how often I buy them until I went to edit my cookbook today, and it was like how often I say use all-purpose flour or Bob's Red Mill blah, 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 or Bob's Red Mill oats or Bob's Red Mill corn kernels. They make the best products. Oh, I love that he's 94 today. I can't believe I don't know someone who works there. I really need to partner with them. This is so delicious. If you've never made popcorn before, just by putting a little oil in a pot and shaking it like that, it's such an easy snack to make. You can do all kinds of things with it. You could do a little bit of cinnamon sugar. Sometimes I'll do brown sugar and cinnamon, and it's like cinnamon toast. You can do all these savory things. You can just do any kind of cheese sprinkles that you want on it. It's delicious that way. It's just the best little snack, and you'll be surprised at how well it holds you. And with the fiber, we're in business. Most of us, I don't know a percentage, don't get enough fiber in our diets, and it's super critical to good health. Such a fun snack, you guys. Maybe I'll just serve popcorn for dinner. Hey, Charlie, we got our popcorn on. Okay, so that one's taken care of. I'm going to eat that all night long. Let's talk about things to put in your trail mix, right? We can certainly talk about other types of nuts as well, because like I said, they all have different health properties. I was looking for Brazil nuts today because I think they have selenium, magnesium, and zinc, and all of those things are kind of hard to come by. And so I love Brazil nuts. Not everybody does, but just a couple of those in a trail mix can do wonders for you. But I was reading about dried fruit the other day on an Instagram feed I follow called Glucose Goddess. She's brilliant and she's trilingual and she has so much to share with us. And she was saying, don't eat fruit in its dried state, eat it in its natural state, because so much sugar is typically added to these. And this is no exception. Organic dried blueberries, organic cane sugar, and sunflower oil. It's like a triple, it's a double whammy of bad ingredients, actually. And I think the thing that's really hard is that when you go to health food stores or stores that are associated with good health, there's still so much to understand. Like, just because this is coming from Whole Foods doesn't mean it's necessarily good for you. And they do a lot of things right. It's organic, which means you're not getting the pesticides from the blueberries, right? And it's non-genetically modified, which is great. I got the blueberries instead of cranberries or cherries because they are a good source of fiber. They have 3 grams of fiber, which is 11%. So if you wanted to add something sweet, this would be a good option. You can feel that they're fibrous, like they're chewy, which is great. But it's got 29 grams of sugar in a quarter cup. That's like as much as a soda. So in a handful of these blueberries, you've got that much sugar. This is what happens in our kids' diets now when we don't understand where the sugar's coming from. This is a great example. 16 grams of that is added sugar. So 13 of it is natural and 16 of it is added from sugar. That's crazy. Blueberries, obviously on their own, would be so much better for us. You could dehydrate them yourself too. You could just cook them over really low heat in the oven and they'd probably be delicious and you wouldn't have to add sugar. So I just thought it was an interesting thing to talk about. I would use dark chocolate as willingly as I would use these. In fact, I meant to buy some of that as well to put it in with the mix. But let's take a look and taste and see what we think here. I mean, And there's no question it's delicious. But I don't think it has to have the blueberries. I just thought it'd be nice for the textural change, right? And something interesting. So let's say we should measure how many servings this actually makes. This is probably about 2 cups. So my guess is this is about 8 servings. So if you're dividing it up like that, the sugar is not going to be terrible for you at all. And the blueberries are delicious with all of the other ingredients and the spices too. It's really good. So any of these mixes you make, let them cool at room temperature, and then you can put them in little individual containers if you want, so people can take them as snacks. Be great for any point in the day at school where your kids or adults get hungry. If you're at work and you can tell that you're getting really hungry, try to beat off the hunger pains with this trail mix, okay? Again, a little bit of dark chocolate would be delicious. If you're going to do dried fruit, just pay attention to how much you're using and what's actually in it, okay? And again, I love those spices, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the cloves, but you certainly don't have to use any if you don't want to. It was really good. Questions on this? Furikake is really good on it. Delightful. Oh yeah, nutritional yeast. You know what's so funny? I bought some and I've been doing that, Jenny. Thanks for the reminder. Did I leave it up here? No. I love nutritional yeast on here to make it vegan. I just thought I'd try it because so many people are doing it. And it's delicious. Oh yeah, I worked on another recipe project and I used it in place of Parmesan cheese for like Caesar kind of profile. So good. No problem, Deb. Hello, welcome. This is such a fast class because we're just doing snacks, but we've done the popcorn with everything bagel seasoning, and we've done a little trail mix for us. And then I wanted to show you the funnest trick with avocados. Before I do that, we're going to just have a little reading hour. We're going to talk about some of these ingredients and why they're so good for us. Oh, that's good to know, KQ. Nutritional yeast tastes, it's kind of like the texture of cheese sprinkles, as we say, grated Parmesan cheese in this house, kind of snowy, right? So you can use it kind of in the same way. And so it gives a cheesy flavor to things like in salads, or if you put it on vegetables before you roast them, it's really delicious too. So I'd encourage you to try it. So I wanted to just share a little bit with you guys about the ingredients we're talking about and what makes them good. And the one I do want to talk about in particular is dark chocolate, because people say, oh, should you really have that much? I think the thing that's important to note about chocolate is that dark chocolate is where you get the health benefits. And that means that it's 70% or greater of cacao. And most things that we label dark are less than that, right? So you're not getting a ton of health benefits from something that's like 50%, probably even 60%. But there's less sugar, usually the more bittersweet the chocolate blends are, right? So that's the other thing. So if you're going milk chocolate, you're probably just getting a ton of sugar in there. So, but cacao or dark chocolate is good for us because it improves the body's response to a carbohydrate, sugar-enriched meal by improving insulin sensitivity. That's a big deal, thereby potentially delaying or preventing the onset of prediabetes and diabetes if consumed regularly in small quantities. They say an ounce a day, which is basically a little square, right? So we're not talking a lot. I have a section on spices as well and how much they add to our lives, how much great health. Confucius liked to consume ginger in fresh and dried form with every meal for digestive benefits. Every single spice has different great qualities. Like cinnamon has been shown to reduce bloat and discomfort, inducing bacteria in the digestive tract, increasing overall circulation and regulating sugar levels after a meal. That's amazing. Turmeric is a proven anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer agent, making it a great addition to foods for those with arthritis or living with cancer. You can find it in capsule form, yeah, but you always need to make sure to pair it with black pepper, because the black pepper is a thermogenic, which means it makes it more bioavailable to your body. It makes the turmeric, it increases its bioavailability by 2,000%, right? So you'll see me talk about those ingredients so much. What were the other things I want to, oh, let's look at, what do I say about seeds? Do I talk about nuts and seeds together? No, I talk about olive oil and coconut oil, yay, and how coconut oil can be saturated. It's 90% saturated, but it has lauric acid, which has been shown to be an easily digestible source of sustained energy for the elderly and for athletes to increase HDL cholesterol levels. So the good kind. Seeds, which I've been trying to eat more of. Sunflower, sesame, pumpkin. They're excellent sources of healthful fats, fiber, and protein. They also provide manganese, magnesium, vitamin B6, which helps promote nerve function and heart health, potassium, lowers blood pressure, the full spectrum of vitamin E, supports heart health and offsets cancer risk, zinc, promotes, I just lost my place, promotes immune system and prostate health, plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, it's got everything, improves heart and skin health and treats autoimmune conditions, plant sterols, lowers cholesterol and promotes health, and other vital nutrients. They say eating a small handful of seeds most days of the week can help lower blood sugar levels, improve cholesterol, reduce heart attack risk, improve digestion, and decrease cancer risk. I mean, amazing, right? So many of these things that we're talking about right here are such great ingredients to just include in our diet, right? So whenever I can find ways to sneak in ingredients that are really, really good for us, you'll see me doing it. I talk about corn in this book. This is my 2 books ago, anti-inflammation cookbook, but we talked about really was genetically modified corn, right? Because it's one of the crops that's gotten really messed up. However, when you're buying Bob's Red Mill and these other great ones, they are not genetically modified, and you don't have the same worries. And so it says right here, non-GMO on the label. And there are so many great health benefits to it. In fact, Dan Buettner, who wrote the book on the blue zones in the world, have any of you heard about the blue zones, where the people are the healthiest and live the longest? And he's gone and studied longevity in all of them to see what they have in common. Most of them are eating beans every day. Many of them consume a ton of corn, but freshly ground, right, in a process instead of being highly refined like we're used to eating it. And a lot of them ate starchy potatoes, like sweet potatoes, purple potatoes. And so all of these foods that we kind of give a bad rap to, when they're consumed in their natural state, they're really good for us. And I think the moral of the story is the more food we can enjoy in its natural state, meaning we haven't taken this and turned it into something that looks like a powder, or turned it into something it's not, the more health benefits it has for us. So it's kind of fun. Let's see. No, this is not my new book, Ginny. My new book, actually the popcorn recipe in there is a riff on something for the new book. And I get them all confused because this book that's going to be coming out is my 4th book, and it has over 100 recipes in it. And I laugh because I make a lot of changes to old recipes. Like I like a base idea, but then I think I can make it better. And by this point, I've completely forgotten which recipe is in which book, right? So I confuse a lot between the anti-inflammation cookbook and the Vibrant Life cookbook. They were shot by the same photographer, same publisher, same food and prop stylists, and it's just all one big blur in my head. It's kind of fun. That was nice of you to give it as a gift, Ginny. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can still get the Vibrant Life and the Anti-Inflammation Cookbook always on Amazon, but wherever most books are sold, you can get them online as well. And when my new one comes out, same thing, it'll be available. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, hopefully a lot of the smaller independent bookstores will carry it as well, because we like to keep them in business too. I love my local bookshop here in Orinda so much. It is absolutely darling. And they host signings and people show up and they want to learn and take it all in. And it just makes me so happy. Okay, I'm going to show you our 3rd trick for the night. I'm just curious if anybody else has questions because it is a faster class and I'm happy to have conversations afterwards. Let me check the other question section and see. Have I ever dried my own fruit? I did in the Williams-Sonoma test kitchen in a convection oven. So, now they sell dehydrators and all of that. You just need an oven that gets low enough in temperature to do it. And it needs to be pretty low. But yes, it's not hard. I have done apple chips very successfully. I loved that. Some of them take longer. We've done strawberries. We did strawberries too, sliced, and those were delicious. So it's super fun, and you can Google it. And you just answered my question. So there we go. Okay, cool. All right. We eat a ton of guacamole in this house because I'm constantly making things like tacos. I love it for breakfast on things like scrambled eggs and anything with spice, roasted vegetables. It's kind of like my green sauces. I just end up making guacamole a lot. And my son Charlie loves to make it. And so the recipe in my new book is in his honor. He wrote the recipe. It was very cute. But this is a really old trick a friend of mine showed me. And I think it's just like the perfect idea if you are really hungry and you need something that is good for you. So it's like, what did we call it on there? I can't remember what I called it. Guac on the run or something. I just sliced it. Okay. Wow, this is a perfectly ripe avocado. I'm going to take the side that doesn't have the seed in it, and I'm going to take a fork. I have a clean fork. We like clean. And look what I'm going to do. I'm always talking about taking salt and putting it with garlic so it acts as an abrasive and you can scrape it. I'm going to have to go film this as a hack after this. You just start pulling your fork across it. Now you don't want to take it through the skin, but you're going to use the shell as a little thing to eat it in. So fun, right? So we're just going to pull across and kind of mash the avocado up. So it's like guac, pocket guac. Is that what we called it? Put it in your pocket. But then what you can do is you can take a little lime and squeeze it over it as well. And it's like the perfect snack. So let me do that. I'm going to get the lime juice. I'll turn the camera down. Just a little bit. And let's get this lime. Again, with limes, I always put them on their side. I cut one of the tops off. And then instead of cutting it through the middle, I like to cut it straight down because the center part is really fibrous and it's hard to squeeze any juice out of it. So I just use the outside parts. I call this a little lime cheek, right? So we're just going to put a couple little squeezes of lime juice on here and then mix it in. How cute is this? So fun. You guys want to see my reaction in real time? Now, it might need more salt, but I don't want to do that yet. I'll just take a little bite. It's delicious. I happen to have corn chips here too, so I could do that. Or if you had any veggies you wanted to eat with it. But talk about an amazing snack. Loaded with all the good fats that we need. It does so much for our brain health. Avocados are a wonderful food for us all to consume. Absolutely delicious. And I think this is the funnest little way to eat it. So delicious. You could totally put hot sauce on that. Think about that. If you just sprinkled a little hot sauce on and scraped it through, it would be delicious. I think it's a super fun idea if you're out hiking, if you're on a boat. Not that I'm on a boat very often. Someplace where you're camping, you don't have access to a lot of utensils and cooking methods, but you want good food. My God, it's amazing. It's like our little superfood in our pocket, right? Deb, I'm glad you like it. What else do we want to talk about, friends? I'm curious if you want to know anything else about, I might have shared with you last week that I'm going to try intermittent fasting because I went to the doctor last week, 2 weeks ago. It's all a blur. And she was saying that it's very common for our blood glucose levels to start to creep up over time, which is not good because that just means you're getting closer and closer to type 2 diabetes. And it runs in my family. And so I'm a little bit alarmed, but intermittent fasting can help with that too. So she's just suggesting that I go for like a 16 hours off, 8 hours on. So I would eat from like 9 to 5 most days or 10 to 6. And I was getting really good at it. And then yesterday I blew it all on Valentine's Day. And then being in San Francisco on a food tour and then driving 70 miles for a basketball game. And then late night eating after that, it all kind of fell apart. But today I'm doing it again. One of the best benefits is also having a clear mind when you wake up, that you try to stop eating around, 4 or 5 o'clock, let's say, if you go to bed at 8, or just have at least 3 hours of awake time before you go to sleep. And you wake up just feeling so much clearer. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that I'm going to take it into this trip feeling great and see if I can stick with it for a while. And I'll report back on the health benefits. It's not for everybody. And you definitely need to talk to a doctor if you're thinking about doing it, because it's super trendy and there are reasons why you wouldn't want to do it. But I'm curious. And since she said I was a good candidate for it, I'm going to get my blood work done in less than a month. And I'm going to see if any changes have occurred. So I will definitely report back on that for you all. Okay. What else? Love this idea. Yoga class on Saturday was so fun. I'm so glad we have it saved as well. And we'll probably send out an email to wrap up all of wellness to remind you all that all of these classes are available for you to go back and watch at any time. Beverly Jane was just spectacular. And if you were on, or if you've gone back to listen to her, she's a yoga instructor, but she's also a soprano, and she sang at the end, and she sings these meditations and chants that are so beautiful. And she did this sound meditation around me. I didn't want to leave. I was just kind of like, okay, I know that I'm supposed to say goodbye to people on a screen, but it was a really, really phenomenal yoga class. And it was not strenuous in any way. It's restorative. And boy, it's what my body wanted and needed. It was magnificent. So if you haven't watched it yet, it's in your account. And I would encourage you to go back and take a look. And we did about an hour of yoga, but it is very mellow, like very mellow. And it's just great. In fact, I think I'll get up early and do it again tomorrow because it was so great. So that's that. Yeah, she had such a beautiful and calming voice. I can't wait to go back to her class this week. Although I was so spoiled just having her to myself, right? So now she'll have 16 people that she needs to be in charge of in the class, but I think it'll just be wonderful. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, this is the quickest class in the history of House of Haas, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of fun to break it up a little bit, right? Anybody have questions on any of the recipes I did? We'll definitely make sure to keep the wellness group going, and we got going on Facebook. So if anybody ever wants to put a subject in there or ask questions, I'm happy to address them and just get the conversation going over there. I think there's about 15 of you who are participating over there. So please continue to share your learnings. And as always, I'm planning out the rest of the year. So since we're wrapping all the other classes up into House of Haas, you can ask me to teach any kind of class. So I'd love to hear from you all at hello@amandahaascooks.com and let me know what you want to learn this year. So they can be single subject classes. They can be things like, I thought it'd be really fun to do a class on like picnic things in terms of things that you can eat outside or take with you to places, themes, holidays, anything you want. And then more wellness. Let me know what you're interested in as we put together the curriculum for the rest of the year. Okay. We're making some changes to the website tomorrow and Friday, which hopefully will make it more streamlined for everybody to understand and have a better flow to it. So I'm really excited to share that with all of you too. What else? Work lunch ideas. Great idea. I think the Facebook name, oh, hi, Lori. It's been so quick, Lori. But we're just happy to have you here. No, easy and delicious. The Facebook group name, is it? Just you go to Amanda Haas Cooks and then you can request to join it. I think it's called like the Wellness Workshop. And then you request it and then Caitlin can grant you access to it. So it's really easy to join. And I noticed a couple people putting things up there, so I love it. Oh, I know, Lori, we missed you last time. Tomorrow is a House of Haas Q&A, just like the monthly Q&A for House of Haas members. For the VIPs, I was invited to go to a play tomorrow night. So I have to do the Q&A early at 4. So Lori, I don't know if that works for you either, but I'm taking questions. So if anybody wants to DM me things that they want to talk about in the regular House of Haas class tomorrow night, I'll let you know. And then before I take off next week for my big trip, we will send out the March calendar and probably April and hopefully May as well. So we can get ahead and look forward to having some new fun together and kind of transition out of all of this talk about wellness into other topics as well, like work lunches. I think that's such a great idea. Whether you work at home, whether you go to an office, whether you don't work, but you're just busy in life, I think easy lunch ideas to execute are always a great idea. So I can't wait to share those with you. Oh, that would be it, KQ. If you found that, yes, that's it. Go with that. I only have one Facebook group, so that would be it. Cool. You could request access and we'll let you in, okay? Okay, friends, I think that's it. I've enjoyed my avocado, my popcorn, my trail mix. I encourage you to try them all and make them your own, as always. Let me know how they turn out. Always post and tag me at Amanda Haas Cooks, and I'll repost them when I see your finished product too, okay? Let's see. Have a great evening. Yes, you too. Always such a treat to be with all of you. Okay, we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.